Hey, everybody. Over the past couple of years, we haven't had to be completely expert in the realm of buyer cancellations because there were so few properties that very rarely did buyers cancel. But given that the market has shifted, I wanted to cover this with you today because I have received several questions in regards to this over the past few weeks. Thought it'd be good to cover. So let's get into it. This is the resolution of due diligence addendum. And before you glaze over, this is actually pretty dang important. So let me just talk through some of the key sections here that I've highlighted. The first three options are basically what we'd consider the standard remedies if something comes up during the due diligence. We could ask section one is we could ask the seller to contribute some closing costs to cover what we found in due diligence. We can do in section two a price reduction. And the third one, we can ask for repairs to be done by the seller. And you can't see the box here because I put this into a PDF, but there's a very small box for agreed upon repairs. So either if you have a system that will automatically scale, which I know SkySlope is working on, you can always put in here in section 3 where it says specify, say, please see exhibit 1 and take a blank document and label it exhibit 1 and go through all the things that you want to have covered in the seller's making repairs. Okay, so that's the easy part, right? Closing costs, purchase price reduction, or seller's going to repair stuff before settlement. All right, now we go on to section 3.1, and this is where the document starts to get a little interesting. It says, if as of the settlement deadline, the repairs have not been completed, buyer may enter into escrow instruction agreement with the seller. And as long as it's approved by the lender, then they can put that into an escrow account. And after closing, those funds can be dispersed as the repairs are done. That's pretty straightforward. But here's where this is just a caution. This is what we do as agents, right? We read like the first third of a document, like, yeah, I got it. But as is the case with any contract, the devil's in the details. Notice in section 3.1, right? So this is all under the category of repairs being made by the seller. Section 3.1 says in this pink section, if 3.1a, right here, or 3.1b is not checked, then the sole remedy is escrow, right? So if the lender won't allow for things to be escrowed, then you better be checking either A or B. And A is we can cancel the contract. You did not have the house in the same condition as when we made our offer, and we have a due diligence period. That's pretty straightforward. And seller agrees to pay the liquidated damages upon buyer demand, right? So if this has been checked and repairs haven't been done and we're canceling the REPSI, this reiterates that not only does the earnest money go to the buyer, but that it will be delivered upon demand of the buyer. That's an important phrase. All right, and then item B, to make sure that escrow isn't the sole remedy, says buyer may complete the purchase of the property and then pursue other remedies available at law. And this is the important verbiage in section B. This section section 3 inclusive shall survive closing, right? If that phrase wasn't there, it would be assumed that when you accepted the house and closed on it, you were okay with everything. This is basically a carve out for that, saying, no, we closed because we needed a house to live in, but the contract was clear on this, and this addendum gave us the right to pursue this after it closed. So that's an important section. All right, moving on to the last section. Section 4. And this one, again, gets looked over all the time. Due diligence condition. Upon acceptance of this addendum, buyer's objections to the due diligence shall be deemed resolved, and the due diligence condition is waived. So in other words, if we went up here to section 1 and I said, yeah, they're going to pay us $5,000 in closing costs, and we didn't check section 4, then it's going to be like, yeah, because they agreed to $5,000, we're done with our due diligence period. But if there's other things that need to be done, make sure that you check box A, that due diligence is still not waived. That makes sense? Those are the brief, important particulars for the resolution of due diligence addendum. I hope that helps you in your day-to-day business. If you have specific questions about that, reach out to me and I'll be happy to talk them through with you.